We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. And we're also doing a TikTok live. So it's one of those combo things again where we do the live and take questions from people watching and maybe have some of the regular guests on and also turn it into a podcast later, mainly because I'm a lazy bastard. It makes it easier for me. And I'm all about making things easier for me. We're going to have moderators out there, of course, TJ the plumber, Rebecca, maybe Greg Captain, and that will help keep us clear for an extended period of time so we can do this live without being taken down by dumbass Trumplefucks. But we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Do you know anything about the plane crash in D.C. right now? I do not. So if anybody knows about a plane crash, please let us know. I have not heard about that at all. Let's see if some of our regular guests are out there. We've got TJ and Rebecca. They're out there. We're going to take some other guests as the time goes on. I really like the idea of taking people just out of the blue on the show because it gives more people a chance to talk. And so I got Rebecca and TJ. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm just, my stomach's a little sore from laughing at some of the bullshit I've seen in this confirmation.
There's so much of it, so much.
I never knew what the term belly laugh meant until I watched that confirmation hearing. TJ's here with us too. How you doing, TJ?
Good, Mike. I agree with you. It's funny, but it's also sad,
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And the thing that pisses me off about all of it is how it's terrorizing people.
Yeah, absolutely. And the terrorizing aspect is something we have to consider. Sunshine here says, you were the one that got me through the election, even though it didn't go as we wanted. Well, thank you, Sunshine. I mean, I think no matter how things go, you've got to have some hope. Otherwise, it's just a matter of giving up. And who wants to fucking give up? I'm going to be 65 years old. I could have given up many motherfucking times, but I didn't, and here I sit. And we'll be fine when it's all said and done, but we're going to have to go through some shit before we get to that point. TJ, Rebecca, I'll ask you this. I watched that confirmation. This guy is not only a goofball, he's not only a sexual predator, he's not only an anti-vaxxer, but he's just so unqualified. He was asked questions, simple questions about Medicaid that he could not answer. He had no concept of what was going on.
Yeah, he's an embarrassment. And his own family says that he's a kook. And he should be nowhere near the position.
Well, obviously his family would say that. They're all completely against him. I'm with you, Mike. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in, but I am not speculating anymore because there are so many things that there's no way this could happen. There's no way this could happen. There's no way this could happen. And it's all freaking happening.
Yeah, and then it happens. It just seems like a bizarro world. All these things we're seeing that are so ridiculous and so upsetting, you would never think would happen in this country. But goddamned if it hasn't. It's ridiculous.
It's the fucking Twilight Zone in this country anymore.
It does seem like that. Somebody asked about a plane crash in Washington, D.C. I've got a report here. It says, police are investigating a plane crash near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. D.C. Fire and EMS say Wednesday night a small plane went down near the airport landing in the Potomac River. All flights at Reagan National have been halted as rescue crews work to find victims from the plane. At this time, it's unclear what caused the plane to go down. That comes from WUSA Channel 9 in Washington, D.C. I'm sure people will try to make this out to be some conspiracy theory. It's probably just a small plane that went down. What were you guys thinking when Robert was up there and he was being asked the questions that he could not answer, and when he did answer, they were wrong? He was talking about 75 million kids being born in this country, which is ridiculous. That's how many kids are born in the world. The guy just couldn't keep everything on track, and he's so woefully underqualified for this. But I have to go back and thinking, yeah, but Pete Hegseth was confirmed for the Secretary of Defense. So who's to say that Robert F. Kennedy doesn't get confirmed in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I do think though that Kennedy blew it more than Hegseth did. Just
Yeah, well,
just because the questions that he got asked about some of the things that he said, which were proven. I mean, they gave it right to the chairman. You know, he couldn't answer if he said these things, and it's all recorded that he did. So I think he ultimately blew it more than Hegseth did, and I think that hopefully Senate Republicans will, kind of walk away from him a little bit.
well, hopefully, but I think the only difference between Hegseth and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is that Hegseth didn't answer questions. He just said the same thing over and over and over again. He didn't answer any questions. Bobby Kennedy answered questions, and they were just categorically wrong and ridiculous. Neither one
so
is
they're,
any more
they're the perfect
qualified than the other.
combination of Trump then.
Right, yeah, exactly. They're taking all of Donald Trump's greatest hits, and they're throwing them out there. I'm pulling Eric in, Analytical Iowan, for some help. I just did a live on Substack. I'm kind of liking that. It's a much smaller crowd of people, obviously, but it's good to get out and talk to those folks. And now we're doing the live on TikTok. Eric, what were your thoughts on the confirmation hearing? I was just telling these folks that I've got a sore stomach because I literally had belly laughs of how ridiculous this was.
I was at work. I haven't seen much about it. So the little bits I've heard sounds like he embarrassed himself, sounded ridiculous. One of my coworkers who had heard part of it before they got to work said Carolyn Kennedy, I guess, tore him a new one in the confirmation hearing, made him look foolish.
Yeah, said he was a predator.
I don't think RFK Jr. gets through. Now, I said that about Hegseth, but if Hegseth came down to a tie, I think RFK Jr. loses by at least one or two.
Yeah. Which is
Again,
ridiculous.
Eric, I'll reiterate what I said a minute ago. I'm not speculating on anything that could possibly happen because every time I do, it turns out like completely ridiculously opposite.
Yeah, it's we'll give you a tip too, Eric. Before you watch the confirmation hearing with Robert F. Kennedy, you'll probably want to get a warm up. So throw in a couple Three Stooges so you can get that laugh rolling. Because when you watch it, the Three Stooges look like serious fucking literature compared to what this fucking clown did.
Hey, Eric.
I'm gonna pull somebody. Go ahead.
Eric, don't drink anything while you watch it.
No.
Because it'll be all against the wall if you do.
Well, that's a waste of a good drink.
Yeah, there will be some spit takes going on there. I'm going to pull somebody up here. Okay, I think this is, we'll see if she comes up. We have some trouble with this sometimes. Sometimes people request to be on and they weren't really requesting. I'm waiting to see. Please, motherfucker, do it. I don't think this is coming. Usually by then it's done. But I like to get other people in the mix because there's a lot of folks out there that want to talk, that have some interesting input. Let's see here. We got how about this one? We'll try this one. This is a crapshoot for me because remember we got that Trumplafuck that one time, and okay, this is Sandy. Sandy, are you with us?
No, she's gone.
She's gone. Fuck it. You and I will talk for a little bit.
That one time, I think that was more than one time.
Yeah. We've got a lot of comments. Grandma Jenny says, I will not give up and I hold them accountable. We can do this. I agree with you, Grandma Jenny. Given that you're a grandma, you're probably of similar age to me. And what I've always said, I've gone through the trials, tribulations, tragedies, points of no hope, but here I sit still, so we will get through this. This too shall pass. But it is kind of frustrating. What do you guys think about this whole this federal funding freeze that he was going to do? I'm interested in your takes on this because he put out this memo freezing federal funding. He didn't get specific. Donald Trump, I'm talking about, didn't get specific about what he's freezing. Then everybody said, "Oh, it's Section 8, it's SNAP, it's Medicaid, it's all these certain things," and then they took it to court, and the court said we're going to put a pause till Monday. And Donald Trump comes out and says, whoa, 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 we didn't mean SNAP. We didn't mean Medicaid. Well, you didn't say what you meant in there. That may be the problem. And then today he comes out and says, I'm rescinding the memo. And people presume that means he was rescinding the freeze, the OMB freeze, I think he said. No, he was just rescinding the memo. The memo that you put out that told, it sounded like he was trying to cover his ass to make sure he didn't look like he was wrong. But we still don't know where we are with this whole fucking thing. What it covers, who's going to be impacted, whether it's rescinded or not. You guys have any other insights on this?
I don't know. He did that, and then a judge told him, go get fucked. You're not going to do this. And then they rescinded the memo, and then another judge came out and said, yeah, just to be sure, I'm going to make sure that you're not doing it also. So
the judge only said it was that it was frozen until Monday, which is weird to me, because why wouldn't you just stop the whole, just say, no, this is completely unconstitutional. Like, why are we even trying to put this out there? And then there was I saw something about no, it was only loans and grants or I don't know what exactly it was, but it wasn't any actual social programs. I think he was putting a feeler out there to see how far he could push it, to see what he could actually get away with freezing.
The Medicaid website went down in all 50 states.
Yeah.
And here's another weird thing too that happened. In the past 2 days, I tried to use the FCC website to get a copy of a radio license I have, and I couldn't log in with my federal ID number.
Wow.
And then finally it worked today, but that's really bizarre that it was doing that.
Well, I think this proves one thing, that Donald Trump just reacts. He's emotional. He puts shit out there. He doesn't think it out. And he's incompetent. So that's what he did. He was trying to create chaos, try to push the envelope as far as he could. And he claims to have a mandate, but he doesn't have a mandate over this because people pushed back and he walked it back. I'm pulling somebody else in here. I'm going to give it a shot, see if it works. We're not having much luck today. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm trying, guys. You guys want to come in and talk? You got to be there when I pull you up. There you go.
Much luck today.
Michael, are you there? Michael, you got to turn your shit down. All right.
Turn it down?
Hey, Michael, what's on your mind? Yeah, you got to turn it down because it's feeding back over us. And then I'm hearing myself twice.
Okay.
And it's tough enough to listen to myself once.
How's that?
Perfect. What's on your mind today?
Well, just that I caught on another TikTok something that I thought was very relevant, at least to me. That very specifically in some of the dysfunction that he's fomenting, I'm convinced, if not, he probably doesn't have the brains to fucking do it himself, but his handlers are having him, his Project 2025 handlers and the powers that be are having him just pretty much wreck shit, not only to enrage us, but to literally disrupt the functions of government bad enough to just make it not work, that's the end goal, is to point to it and say, see, it's not working. And when people hit the streets, that's when he's going to bust out his martial law. But with the TikTok that I saw earlier today that I think is a relevant starting point for at least my attitudes on what's going on with this is it was by a veteran who had problems with the VA portal, which is really easy. I get my prescriptions through it. I do Video Connect for virtual appointments in the areas that I can utilize that tool. And I just get I even talk to my nurses when I have a medical issue, and I just get a lot done. And this vet found his portal screwed with. He had virtual appointments confused with face-to-face confused with pretty much everything Trump turns to dog shit, like white
True.
dog shit. And
True.
this business of disrupting such government functions that are normally so smooth. The VA is incredible, incredible. I've never had better medical help. I've had surgeries. I've had all kinds of specialties. I came back from Iraq pretty screwed up, and I have a lot of medical needs. I'm 100% disabled. And for him to target the function of the VA when arguably it's effective socialized medicine that targets and serves a population that not only gave all for this country, but is also extremely efficient for always having its funding fucked with and always having its policy fucked with by these yahoos that are appointed. And especially, and I cite the example of like DeJoy still being at the post office. Like, the one element of our U.S. government that's always functions was the fucking mail. And he broke that. And that hasn't, and Biden let that slide, and that wasn't fixed. So what I'm saying here, I guess the biggest point that I'm trying to make here is that this is all quite intentional. And instead of clutching our pearls, which is what MSNBC and all the mainstream media wants to do, instead of clutching our fucking pearls and like, oh, it's so unprecedented, and oh, look what he did now, and oh, look at this now, oh, and look over here now. I just say, fuck all that shit, as we used to say in the Army, fats, fuck all this shit. And just look at the end result is our government is being disrupted. It's not functioning properly, even in the areas of government that have always been smooth. And we need to hold the people that are still in office their feet to the fire, metaphorically speaking. We need to hold their feet to the fire on all of this. And instead of becoming reactively abusive by getting violent in the streets, because all he's going to do is he's going to use Proud Boys and MAGA and whatever and the extreme elements as agitators to incite something that he can then put down with martial law. That's the goal. I mean, this playbook has been written.
I don't, but that's not really the style of Democrats. That's more a Republican thing. I know that he may be trying to want to get people in the streets and fighting and such, and that may happen in small skirmishes here and there because there are a certain amount of crazy people. I don't know that you're going to see the Democrats get out in full force and storm a building. I don't see that.
No, I don't mean that. That's not what I meant. I meant that he is breaking the government with great intent. That's part of the strategy, is to break the government, point to it as not working, frustrate the people, frustrate the veterans, frustrate people who are a recipient of things from whatever, from Social Security, Medicaid, whatever. And eventually people will be pissed. And eventually, and it's not even a party thing, because probably some MAGAs will even get pissed. But the point is, once people do hit the streets, which I think they eventually will, the goal is to send agitators out. He's going to pull a Nixon, like at the Chicago Convention in '68. His goal is to get that cookie crumbling, so that when eventually reactions to it do evolve, he can send agitators out and then go, see, we need martial law.
Well, that's true.
That's what he's
but we know what martial law did in South Korea.
Die on that hill.
So martial law didn't work that well in South Korea, and he might be in for tougher pushback than that. Again, like you said, Donald Trump is not a smart man. He's got people around him that are kind of directing him to do these certain things. Michael, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you on. He was on the podcast, and interesting guy. And let me know if you want to come back on the podcast too.
Thank you for your service, Michael.
All right, that's Michael. He's an interesting guy. In fact, when Michael was on the podcast, people would come to me and say, "There's no way he's done all that shit." I said, "Fucking Google it." I did. When I heard it, I go, "My God, that's a lot of shit." But I Googled it, and He's right on point. He's done a lot of things, and we're fortunate to be able to have him come on the program and on the lives too, because he's got some great insights to certain things. Michael, to you guys in the boxes now, Michael said we've got to hold their feet to the fire, meaning the politicians. The question is, how do we do that? Simply by our votes, by screaming? What do we do?
Well, one thing we need to do is we need to blow up their emails, blow up their snail mail boxes, and send them letters en masse and tell them they need to do something about this nonsense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as Kristen was saying on your podcast, that was her whole point.
Yeah,
We need to do that. We need to go after, depending on who you have for a senator, for a congressman, depends on how you need to respond. If they're younger,
Right.
email. If they have text capability or whatever, if they're younger and are that accessible. Now, unfortunately, here in Iowa, I've got Chuck Grassley as one of my damn senators. The only
Yeah.
way he responds is if you got to go out and find somebody to send him a damn telegram. Because he probably thinks a letter is too advanced.
Senator Grassley, the Pony Express is here. They got a
Yeah.
they got a note and a tintype.
Yeah, I mean, but sending him an email or any sort of electronic communication, notes on their website, whatever, he's not going to probably see that. But you send him a shit ton of letters, he's going to react differently to that than he is electronic communication. An aide's going to get all
exactly.
the electronic stuff.
Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's in the total in the three branches, there's 545 people total. Is that correct?
What?
The president, the 9 Supreme Court
535 in both
justices,
535.
including the president and the 9 Supreme Court justices.
Oh, if you count those, no, you were
It's
at
545.
545. Yep.
It's 545 people that we either elect or we have chosen other people to appoint that against millions, and we can't make a difference.
Yeah.
Like there's like, it's just insane to me that 545 people can make the decisions for our country that are this freaking bad, that we cannot stop what is happening with only 545 people against millions.
But it's not even 545. You got to remember, half of Congress just about is Democrats.
Right.
They're not the ones in
I
power.
mean, in general, the politicians we elected to represent us and the people they appointed.
Yeah, but
And
I'm just saying the ones that are
45 people
making the bad
against
decisions are the Republicans,
And
and that's only about
do we need
half
to
of that
be-
number.
Do we need to be like the other countries that have recently, like, literally had to revolt and have coups in order to stop the bullshit that was happening in their countries? Like, and I'm not advocating any sort of like violence or anything like that, but like, how do we fight? How do we fight? I mean, it's literally millions of us against 545 people.
I tell you what, guys, I'm going to lighten the mood a little bit. I'm going to bring up somebody who doesn't have a lot of opinions or complains a lot.
No.
So Will is with us. You obviously have some things on your mind.
Yeah, that was a fun 24 hours, guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh,
That was-
I mean, I
Nothing
was so
happened at all.
pissed. I mean, TJ saw I went live, and I'm kind of reluctant
He
after
did.
all this shit started to go down, and it
I
was.
wanted to go live with you, but I couldn't because I had to get
I
ready
know.
for work. Job number 2.
But
sorry.
it was, but I mean, it was basically as I see the detritus, the terrorists, or the fucking garbage that Trump strewed in the last 24 hours. It's coming from a lot of his advisors, and a lot of his advisors think they can get away with shit. And the head of the OMB, who's not the head of the OMB, but he's sitting there because they haven't approved him yet, thought that he can get away with it. They all thought they were going to get away with it. They all thought that we're all going to say, okay. What they didn't realize is how everything, again, you have people who have no fucking idea how government works. And it's not just, they think government is what you see in the Capitol Hill. No, It's the bureaucracy and how it's connected to each state. And then all of
Right.
a sudden, like Mike was saying, no one could get to their shit. The states couldn't get to their stuff. And all of a sudden, it became this huge thing they didn't expect. That's why they backed off. Trump's saying he's not backing off, but he's backed off. And
Yeah,
that
but
he's
pisses them off
backed off.
even
you
more.
know what the best thing about that whole memo and like all that is? It worked in our favor. Because all the Trump
Yes.
fucks are out there going, am I losing my Medicaid? Am I losing my VA benefits? Am I losing my like Social Security? Am I like so? There's a lot of people who voted for Trump who are now regretting their decisions because they think that memo may have meant more than it may have. He might have just been putting out feelers, but they're going to be scared now.
I don't think
here's the-
I don't think they're that smart. You know what I think? They're playing their game with their third string players because that's all Donald Trump has. He has third string
Yeah.
players, and they don't know what they're doing.
But
Well,
here's the
as
thing. Here's the
I-
worst thing that. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say was that I've said all along, no matter what Donald Trump does, no matter how crazy the shit he does, he'll always fuck it up. He'll always crash and burn on everything he does. He thinks just because it comes out of his head and his mouth, it comes straight from the Bible, and it's absolutely true. But it's almost absolutely always wrong, and he will always fail. And in this freezing of the federal funds, he fucking failed. He showed that he didn't have a mandate. He showed that he didn't know what he was doing, and he showed that he made a mistake. He was unwilling to admit it, but he fucking made a mistake.
Now it's going to get worse because the one thing that's in the background no one's speaking about is the letters that federal workers are getting from the Trump administration. The first was
Yeah.
the offer to quit and take 7 months and quit or get fired. Now they're saying either you do this or take a loyalty test. If you think it was bad now, if they start flushing out seasoned bureaucrats for a bunch of sycophants who have no idea how government works, then we're really fucked, to be blunt.
Yeah. We're
I've taken police examinations because I actually got hired to be a police officer and never took the job. But it is super easy to take a loyalty test. And if you are halfway intelligent and answer the right way and keep your job, it undermine the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
I
point
mean,
is
it's not
that-
hard to fake that.
But the loyalty is to the Constitution. They're going to ask them who you voted for. Do you love Trump? Do you worship Trump? Do you have a Trump T-shirt? Do you need a hat? I mean, you know how this is going to go. It's ridiculous.
Are you okay with the smell of shit in the background? You gotta have all those things. I'm going to pull somebody else up. This
Hey.
is we'll see.
Mike, we talked about and TJ was there, we talked about what happened in California when
Yeah.
Melania kissed Gavin Newsom, and she was downwind of him, and she's always like 5 feet away from him. She was right up on Gavin. She was really right up on Gavin Newsom, and I don't blame
Well, I
him.
think
He's a good-looking dude, but
I think she was excited because it's the first time she'd been anywhere near a real man in some time. Because Donnie Trump is a fucking toddler. Did you? I was gonna.
It's clear why
I was
she wore
go-
that wide brim hat.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you a story that I heard today about these deportation things. You know, they picked up 3 people in Milwaukee: a grandmother, a mother, and a toddler. They picked them up for the sole reason that they were speaking Spanish in Milwaukee. They scooped them up, brought them in, checked them out, and they said, "Listen, we're from Puerto Rico. We're citizens. We speak Spanish because they speak Spanish in Puerto Rico." And after a period of time when they proved who they were, they apologized and let them go. But think about that. Think about how bad it is that these people can scoop up anybody, you, me, or anybody else.
And that's an
I'm sorry?
yeah, well,
that's an unlawful
Go ahead.
detainment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
because
Legal action
that's the
against
thing. ICE is moving without. What happened to due process of law? I know they're disappointing these people, but don't they have a due process? Why is anyone not suing these people for this? And then
Well,
also,
I think they will.
I'm Puerto Rican. I'm brown. I'm dark. I don't speak much Spanish. But if I get hassled, I'm going to go to jail because I'm not going to say a goddamn word. And I'm just going to sit there. And good luck. Where are you going to deport me? Back to
Will,
Southern California?
somebody on the last live like asked like, why would Will be afraid of ICE? Be afraid of ICE? And I'm like, because he's Puerto Rican and they have no idea that Puerto Rico is America. Like
They
they have
don't.
no
You know it.
clue.
Right. Exactly.
And the shit I got for the video I said that the ICE agents are low forms of life. Everyone was saying, well, they're just doing their job. No, they're not doing their job. I heard that at the Nuremberg trials. And
Yeah.
to watch Christy Nome dress up in cosplay with that fucking vest and everything pissed me the fuck off. Dude, lady, you're Homeland Security. You're the head of it. Your job's to be in the office. These fucking people are just worse. And to think that 7 senators voted for her nomination, Democratic senators, voted for her at Homeland Security. What the fuck?
It's absolutely crazy. Okay, I'm bringing somebody else up here. Hopefully, they'll pop up. There they are. Tatiana, are you there? Tatiana, are you with
Hello.
us?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hello. We can hear you just fine. How's it going today?
Okay, as good as it can get with everything that's going on. If it's okay, I would like to go back to the Federal Reserve funding
Absolutely.
freeze. So
Absolutely.
I know they came out outright they talked about all these other programs that will go on, like SNAP benefits, etc. But when
Right.
it comes to DEI, for example, they've made their stance clear that it will be cut off. So my question is, for example, people that are in DOD and that has some DEI programs incorporated there for maybe retention, recruitment, or whatever the case is, how would that be impacted through this initiative? And also, if there are any programs in the reserve, for example, for the Air Force or whatever that funds like education programs through DEI, for example, for all the people in DOD, how would that also be impacted? And yeah.
Well, that's the problem. We don't know. I mean, he wasn't specific in the memo, and then he rescinds the memo, but he still says something's going on. I mean, that's the problem with Donald Trump. He doesn't tell us what he's doing. He just throws it out there to scare people. And then when you say, you can't touch Section 8, you can't touch SNAP, they say, oh, we're not talking about that. Well, what the fuck are you talking about? When are you going to tell us? I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? I'm just thinking we don't know anything.
Trump, one thing he did that he flushed out all DEI people in the DOD and all across the federal government. They fired them because God forbid if anyone of color decides to apply for a job, we don't want that, and I'll say that straight up.
Right.
But to answer your question, ma'am, they already got rid of that, the DEI programs. Now, as for veterans, who knows? These guys consider veteran benefits as something they need to get rid of. So
Right.
Again, we're dealing with a man who is listening to other people telling him a whole bunch of shit, and he just keeps going. And that, to answer the question the person has asked, that's diversity.
Equity and inclusion.
Was it?
Diversity,
Equity and inclusion.
inclusion.
And the thing about it is, the Heritage Foundation started this almost 5 years ago, and they started with CRT, then moved to DUI to pervert a good thing, because what they did was play on the racist tropes for everyone. Because every person who is of a color who has a position of power didn't earn it; they were given it. That's how they keep selling
Right.
it. You saw what happened in L.A. The woman chief of the LAFD. Not only is she a woman, she's a lesbian. They fucking went crazy. They said, yeah, that's why all the fires went everywhere. You had a woman in charge, and oh my God, she's married to another woman. Oh, that's why everything went sideways. This is what we're dealing with.
Well,
And I
the thing
don't
about-
know. Yeah.
the thing about DEI is everybody says everybody on the right thinks DEI is brown people, black people.
Yeah.
But DEI is the kid with Down syndrome who wants to get a minimum wage job because he's fairly functional. It's they, like anybody with any kind of disability, a disabled vet, an elderly person that like wants to the as they say in it was a movie, I can't remember what it is, but they called it the Adopt a Geezer program. Like it's anybody who is outside of the normal standards of basically a white man, like a woman.
Well, doesn't that affect women too? Women in general?
Yes, a woman is a DEI hire.
Yeah, the biggest beneficiary
DEI is like literally anything that's not hiring a white man, pretty much.
Right.
the biggest beneficiary, unbeknownst to the Trumplefucks, the biggest beneficiary of DEI is white women.
Yeah. But this whole
Well,
thing,
I don't know.
they are convinced that anything DEI means unqualified, that you didn't earn it. Look what they said with Ketanji Brown Jackson when Joe Biden appointed her to the Supreme Court. Well, did he have to? Why didn't he get somebody who was qualified? Why did he have to go out and specifically say he was getting a black woman?
Meanwhile, her qualifications are like so beyond most white
else's on the
women.
bench.
It comes back to the cruelty is the point thing. What they're trying to say is that no brown people or black people have the same qualifications as white people. That's what they're saying.
It's not like DEI is a quota system. Like you have to hire DEI. That's not what any DEI means. DEI means learning about your fellow Americans and fellow humans that may have differences to you. It has nothing to. That doesn't mean they're not just as qualified.
It's saying that the workplace should look like society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying.
Exactly.
But they don't want that. I mean, the worst thing about Hesketh right now is that they want to flush everyone of color and women out of the military. They want the military to look like the Russian military, all white men. Now we know how great the Russian military is at this point, but it's a fantasy built on some kind of superiority that doesn't exist. It's simple as that.
Yeah, because the Russian military is mostly based on people who came from literally living in huts that they recruited and gave them some money, so they, with no training.
Yeah, absolutely. Tatiana,
I'm sorry.
Tatiana, thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Join us anytime you'd like.
Someone in the chat said Hegseth is a DUI hire.
I said that the other night. But as far as the freezing of the federal funds, the chaos one was the point. Donald Trump wanted to test the limits of what he thinks that the 1972 or 4 Impoundment Control Act should be tested in court and be tossed, which says presidents cannot impound funds passed by Congress. What he doesn't realize is the courts are going to say, well, no, you don't get to do that because the power of the purse rests with the House. It has. And why does it rest with the House? Well, simple. When they passed the Constitution, the only people directly elected by the people was the House.
Yep.
The senators were appointed, and you had the Electoral College for president. The power of the purse rests with the people. It's the people's house. Donald Trump doesn't understand it. He just knows that before they used to have, presidents had always impounded money until Nixon went crazy with it, and Congress said, whoa, back the fuck up. We don't like this anymore, and we're going to do something. That's why I say after Trump's out of office, we're going to see a bunch of shit coming from Congress putting limits on the president because they're like, we don't want to go through this shit again.
Right. I just want to update people. I'm getting a lot of people in the comments talking about this plane crash in Washington, D.C., and we're getting more information about it. It says a passenger aircraft crashed into the Potomac River near Reagan National Airport outside of Washington, D.C. after it collided in midair with a helicopter as it approached the runway, according to the FAA. There are no confirmed casualties as yet, but it's still early. The plane was American Airlines Flight 5342, which departed from Wichita, Kansas. The White House confirmed a military helicopter was involved. So I don't know what that all means, but that's
Oh
weird.
God. Yeah, that could be ugly if it turned out to be part of the immigration ICE raids.
Yeah, it.
God, I hope. I
Yeah,
mean, I hope. I mean, that doesn't sound good. That's going to be. Oh,
Hopefully it
that's
was
going to
just
be
an
ugly. And
accident.
by the way, the person in the freaking notes that said Kamala surrendered Afghanistan. You're out of your mind. And here's the thing: people were. One thing crossed my mind real quick is someone was talking about the J6 pardons that Trump let loose violent criminals. Fuck, he let loose 5,000 Taliban fighters before the
yeah.
fall of Afghanistan. So that all tracks in the end.
Well, the important thing to know about Afghanistan is that the plan that Joe Biden implemented to get out of Afghanistan was Donald Trump's plan. Donald Trump sent the date when it was to happen, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden just followed the order. Secondly, he did release 5,000 criminal, violent Taliban, and that's what caused Afghanistan to fall. So to blame that on Kamala Harris is just fucking stupid. I'm pulling somebody else up here now, and we'll see what they have to say, assuming they come up. Stevie, are you with us? Hello, Stevie.
You're muted, Steve. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Hi. How you doing?
That's all right, Steve. What's on your
Watching
mind?
television. Sorry. So it said I had 16 people in front of me, so that's why I wasn't paying attention.
No.
I apologize. Yeah, sorry. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind?
No, nothing. I mean, just like I said, I just saw the video for this collision, which is very odd. I'm an aviation guy and stuff, and it's just very odd from the angle. I know the angles are a little weird with these long lens cameras, but it looks as though the aircraft was either taking off or landing, and most likely taking off. But the helicopter was just flying on a straight line, and just you see them fly, and then it just collides with the basically with the aircraft, and that's it. It's weird, very strange. Like I said, I mean, it could be the angle, and I'm not making any kind of accusations because we don't know anything, but it's just odd. I've never, not something that I was aware of.
Well, we do have a Secretary of Defense that doesn't know fuck all about what's happening. I'm seeing the video on TV now. It's tragic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did they check the local bar for Pete Hegson?
Yeah.
Has he been briefed? Or did they
Yeah.
have
Why,
to go,
what are the axe
you
bar
know-
and axe throwing bars?
Somebody literally came to me in the comments and said, I heard a story that Pete Hegseth, after getting confirmed, got a DUI running an M1 tank into the Pentagon. I go, fucking please. Really? Are you going to come to me with that shit? That's
Steve,
It sounds
ridiculous.
ridiculous, but with this administration, it's plausible.
Yeah. That's the thing. You don't know anymore. You don't know what's true. It's like because it sounds like it could happen.
From a guy who has brainworms, for goodness sake.
Hey, Stevie,
Yes.
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said you're in aviation, and I don't know what you do, but do you think that I didn't see the video? You said you saw a video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's plausible that the Black Hawk helicopter was flying? They're saying it's a Black Hawk helicopter.
Yeah, there's no
Go over that
confirmation on the helicopter, but I mean, it could be a Black Hawk, could be something else.
Yeah,
But,
but do you think that it's plausible that the helicopter was flying below radar?
Well, this is from what I can see. Yeah, it would be below radar because it looks like only a short, it's a very very limited distance above the runway. So
So
the aircraft.
it's possible that the air traffic controllers couldn't even see the helicopter.
No, you'd most likely be flying with visual at that point because
Right.
you'll get direction from the tower, but you're most likely and first off, the military helicopter shouldn't be anywhere near that close.
Right.
So
Right.
it shouldn't even be there. It's not even like an issue. I don't understand what happened because from what I could see, the landing lights, the bright light you're seeing, if you see the video, is a landing light, and I don't understand, and that's when the gear is down. So and I don't know Reagan. I can't confirm that. I mean, it looked like it was over the Potomac, so I'm assuming it was taking off. Because in order to see the landing light, it would be coming at you, not going away from you. And then you can see the navigation light on the helicopter and you could see the tail light on the tail rotor light on the helicopter, and you could, kind of like I said, it just kind of, it's on a straight line. It just goes straight, and then collides with this bright light, which is the landing light from the aircraft, and then they fall down in pieces. I don't know how many people.
Yeah, it looks like to me, Stevie. I'm looking at this. It looks like to me the helicopter came up from behind and crashed directly into the plane from behind. Is that right?
It's again. I don't know the angle. I wish I did, but from where I could see with the lights I'm seeing, it looks as though the helicopter is broadside to us. So you're looking at a profile view, and then the jet aircraft is definitely front view because you're seeing that bright landing light. So that's on the front of the aircraft on the on the landing gear. So to me, you're seeing the side view of the helicopter impact with the front view of the aircraft. So to me, it's like as if almost like perpendicular to each other. They're like just running into each other. I just don't understand it because if it is a Black Hawk, there's a lot of glass on that. There's a lot of visibility in that aircraft. So I can't imagine on that helicopter. I can't imagine that the pilot wouldn't see. But then again, the pilot this should never be anywhere near that part. I mean, ATC doesn't give you anything close to that kind of close range. I mean, not on an aircraft on takeoff or landing.
Is there any way something like this could be intentional? And what would that look like?
I'm an old news guy too. I can't say that. I would never say that because I don't know. But I mean, it's from the angle, and I don't know that if it's that real, but from the angle and from the way it looks, it looks like it just ran into the aircraft. So I don't know if you could say that's intentional or if the pilot wasn't seeing something.
I'm seeing in the comments that the aircraft was on a glide descent. Is that correct?
Well, like I said, you were seeing a bright light, so I'm assuming that was a landing light because there's no bright light on the back end of the aircraft. So it was more likely taking off because when they collided, the pieces went into the Potomac. Like you could see the pieces falling down. So now I don't know if it's like LaGuardia in New York, where I'm from New York, but if it's like LaGuardia, LaGuardia has a runway that goes out over the water, but that's when you're coming in for a landing. I don't really recall you taking off from that area either. So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But it was just, I got to tell you, it's always, these things always disturb you because, it's like you got to understand you're watching people expire, and it's never, I don't care what it is. It's never a thing.
Wasn't it?
Well,
After
seeing 9/11, I happened to be watching it. I was at work, and somebody says a plane hit the tower, and we go, oh fuck, another fuck up, and then another one hits, and then all of a sudden the whole vibe changes because you realize this was intentional, and I hope this wasn't intentional.
I hope.
I don't know what the reason would be.
I don't either.
That it would be.
No idea. But yeah, I mean, 9/11. Yeah, I mean, I was the same way. I watched it as it happened. I was actually supposed to be there that day, but downtown that day, but I wasn't. A meeting got canceled, but I was supposed to be around. I was literally going to be around the corner on Broad Street at that time. So I was home because I didn't have to go to work because my meeting was canceled. So I figured I would go in late, and I watched TV, and I started watching, and I saw this gaping hole in the World Trade, and they said, a plane had hit a small commuter plane, and I'm like, well, that's no small plane. First off,
Right, exactly.
No.
and then I got to tell you, I'm like a big military history guy and stuff, and I know a lot about aircraft and things like that. And my first thought was like, it was such a beautiful day. My first thought was like, what was he trying to land the Hudson? And was a guy trying to make an emergency landing? But I'm like, that's a crazy way to. The guy must have been some lousy pilot. And then as I was doing that in my head, I saw the other plane impact. And then I just turned to my girlfriend at the time and I said, we're at war. That was the first words out of my mouth. I said, we're at war.
Yeah.
Because I knew exactly what it was at that point. But yeah, it was just, I can't believe with all my, that I wasn't thinking terrorism first. I was like, wow, what a lousy pilot. I couldn't believe it. That didn't even enter my mind, but the second one,
it didn't.
It was immediate. I didn't even didn't miss a beat. I just turned to my girlfriend and said, "We're at war," because I knew that was it, But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't. Hopefully, this is nothing but an accident and just a
Yeah,
terrible
but
tragic
the
accident.
biggest, this is going to be a tragedy, and the worst thing that just popped in my mind, and I hate to say this,
Mhm.
how is the Trump administration going to spin this to benefit them and gaslight the rest of us? That is so sad. I have to think
Well,
that,
you're
guys. I'm
right. You're right.
sorry.
You're right. I know it's
And then
we
the
get
other
that way
thing that
now.
crossed my mind is the NTSB still existing?
For now,
Because I
yes.
don't know.
No, for now it is. Yeah, for now it is.
Okay,
But yeah,
but isn't that
hopefully.
sad that
I
that's
know.
my
I know.
first thought?
I know.
You're
It's this whole thing has been, I'm going back on people's lives and stuff because I just we had the first week of the Trump, administration, and I've been trying to stay calm. I've been trying to not watch a lot of the news and trying to just, muddle through my life, and stuff like that. And I got to deal with, Trump people at work and other various things. And I just kind of put it out of my mind. But then, I saw the thing with the Tuskegee Airmen and the WASPs not being, that was no longer going to be taught with the Air Force. And I just, I went ballistic because I'm so sick and tired of everybody talking about this woke bullshit. It's what caring for other people is not woke.
no.
Understanding that people
Being awake to your
contributed
surroundings.
is
That's
not
what.
woke. You know what I mean? It's like it's. I don't
I mean,
understand
Jesus
how.
is woke.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus is woke.
What's woke? Oh,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ is woke.
Jesus was woke. Yes, it's just it's silly. I mean, that poor bishop that got now she's getting, I guess she's getting unalive threats and things like that. It's just awful. I mean, it's just awful. All she was saying was the same thing that Jesus had said to the Romans. I
Have
don't
mercy.
understand. I don't understand what the deal is. It's like show mercy, show kindness, care for the stranger in the land in your land. Treat them as one of your own. I'm Italian. My family. I'm Italian, American, but it's Italian ancestry. My family came here in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they were discriminated against. They were called the same things that Trump called the Mexicans.
Right.
They're rapists, all that nonsense. And he said it. I knew what Trump was doing the moment he went down those stairs and started speaking. And I've been
Yeah.
shouting about it since. I know he's a fascist. I know he's a Yahtzee. I know he is, and this is what he's turning our country into. But I mean, that's why it was nice to see. Like I saw, like I'm like looking at your thing, like rational boomer. I was like, ooh, this looks interesting. I was like, I'm not a boomer, but I'm 54. But it's an interesting thing to hear because a lot of guys, unfortunately, I deal with a lot of guys that are, I guess you would consider them boomers, and a lot of them are Trump people, and I can't figure for the life of me, I can't figure out why. I'm like, what is the deal? It's
As a
crazy.
boomer, there's a lot of boomers I do not fucking like. More importantly, there's a lot of boomers that don't like me, so fuck them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Stevie, thank you for coming on. I
Oh, no
appreciate it.
problem. No problem.
You're a font of
Before it
knowledge.
goes, I want to ask
Thank you.
on your name. I see P-51. You're talking about P-51 Mustang, aren't you, Stevie?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
plane.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
that was awesome
I'm
aircraft.
I
One of the
reenact as
greatest
a
aircrafts
I,
ever.
I reenact as a P-51 pilot, circa
Oh,
1944, 45. So yeah, and I have a car, I have a 2015 Mustang that I've actually customized with to kind of do like what I call a P-51 edition, as if like Ford had done in honor of the Mustang, and I've got like badging and some performance upgrades and
so
interior
cool.
stuff, and yeah, and I do shows, I do car shows and stuff, and I try to educate the youth and people in general on all the people that flew the Mustang, including the Tuskegee Airmen and including
Yes.
the women as service pilots who flew them as they ferried them from base to base in the United States. So all that stuff. So that's what I do, and that's why I'm an aviation guy. I've read all the flight
Well,
manuals and all that stuff.
Ste Stevie, I'm one of these guys that watch the car shows where they rehabilitate cars, and I swear to
No,
God, I saw a show where they turned a Mustang into something like a P-51 Mustang, and
oh
it had
yeah,
the
yeah,
teeth on the side.
yeah,
Is
yeah. I mean, mine's not
same kind of
that
thing?
way. Mine's not really that much. It's more like as if Ford had done it. So I've got like a custom badge with a top view of the aircraft, and it says like P-51D Tribute Edition, and it's got like the star and bar, which is the actual like the normal star and bar from that period, where
Right.
on the fenders, small and black, and then I've got on the. Then what I did do is I took an aircraft that I know. It's the aircraft's called Detroit Miss. It was piloted by a Lieutenant Urban Drew, and what I did was I took the Detroit Miss nose art, and I kind of did it into a custom badge decal on the side, but all in black, not in color, but all in black. So
Wow.
with including the 7 kills, the 7 German, unalives that were on the aircraft. He got 2 Me-262s as well as 5 other aircraft. So there's it's just like a little history, but and then the aircraft, the inside of the car, I've got like brown leather interior. I've got an 8th Air Force stylized 8th Air Force logo on each of the headrests. I'm doing some custom work as well on the interior. I'm almost done with that, but like I said, it's really designed for. It wows people at shows, and then I turn around and I educate them.
That's the way to do it. Stevie, thank you for coming on. I appreciate
You're very
it.
welcome.
Don't be a
Anytime,
stranger, Stevie.
I won't. You guys have a great night. Take care.
You too.
too.
Well, I'm glad to know that Stevie didn't really take too much time with that car, that he didn't put a lot of effort into it. This guy, that's what I like doing, taking people on here, because there's a lot of very knowledgeable people that can offer some insights. And they can come on here and help out. I'm going to take one right now that I may regret. I don't know. We'll see. This guy's been bugging in the comments. Please put me on. Please put me on. His name is Coach Mox.
Thank you,
Now,
Boom.
Coach Mox, don't make me regret this. The Coach Mox things make me think, oh my God. I get it too, because I put Boomer in my name, and everybody goes, oh, I know what that fucker's about. What's up, Coach?
I enjoy y'all's live. Wanted to get on for a minute. I had
Sure.
I kind of had a hypothetical question here about the insurrectionists being let out, Trump letting them out, and what happened in Indiana with the officer. My question is this: what would have happened had the police officer that pulled that guy over perhaps been for the first week, came straight out of training, got startled, and ended up on the wrong side of what happened? Would there be any responsibility whatsoever be put on Trump?
Well, what Coach Mox is talking about is for those that don't know, there's a guy who was pardoned. He was one of the J6ers. He had some violent issues. He went back home to Indiana, presumably to lead his life. He had a car full of weapons. He was pulled over. It went awry, as it does with insurrectionists, and the insurrectionist was shot and killed on the scene. Now, what Coach Mox is saying, what if it went the other way and the cop had been shot? Would they have tried to spin that? What do you guys think? I think he would have been made a hero, a la the kid in Wisconsin.
Or a martyr.
Yeah.
Well,
Killing a cop?
No, he's talking about the J6 or J6.
No, I hear that. But he couldn't be a hero. He kills a cop? No, that's not a hero.
No,
Well, no,
He's a hero to MAGA, apparently.
For Fox it is.
right. That's the thing. I wonder how, if there would have been any responsibility held for he also here's something that I don't think is talked about enough. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he invented the Silk Road website.
Right.
That
The dark web.
he's probably responsible for much of the beginnings of the fentanyl problem into this country. He had an underground market, and this guy was serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Right.
And for whatever reason, this guy gets parked. But here we are trying to, he wants to act like he wants to get these horrible drug people out of our country. Just amazing.
Or
It is
invade
true that,
Mexico to stop the fentanyl from coming. which it wouldn't.
Right. And you're right, Coach Mox. Nobody's talked about it as much as all the 1600. This guy from Silk Road, it's a dark web, and he moved a lot of drugs, including fentanyl. A lot of people died from it, and that's why he got 2 life terms plus 40 years. And Donald Trump kept telling us how he's worried about fentanyl coming from Mexico, yet he lets this fuck go. That is a little contradictory, and I agree with you. I'd love Donald Trump to explain that to us, but I know he won't. He'll say it was all a hoax and fake news and all that shit, but it wasn't. He was convicted by a jury of his peers, sentenced to the rest of his life in prison, if not for Donald Trump to let that dumb fuck out.
Yeah.
And I won't comment on something that Will said. Will, you're right in the fact that he wouldn't be a hero to us, but he would be a hero to them, because they're the ones who fucking tried to kill the police.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Well, and Coach Mox, here's what you got to understand. He let out 1,600 of those motherfuckers. 3 of them have already been put back in jail or killed, okay?
Right.
1,600 people. It's only been a few days. The likelihood of something to go wrong with these clowns that have proven that they can't be trusted,
Right.
a cop could get killed or something could happen that goes very badly, and it's going to be interesting to see what Donald Trump and the Republicans react to that, because, you know, they always talk about the immigrants who come here and commit crimes. They were criminals and we let them loose. Well, Donald Trump let these motherfuckers loose, and he's going to have a comeback to haunt him because some shit's going to go down.
I agree 100%, because the thugs that he let out are some of the worst of the worst. And we saw it, like you said, that guy had enough ammo in his car to supply Ukraine with. And
Right.
He wanted to be confrontational and then threaten, an officer's life. One thing led to another. And I agree with you, Boomer. Something else is going to happen. And I just hope that it's, it could be an innocent family, it could be whatever. And the blood is on his hands, though.
Coach, think about this. He let out Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys, and he let out Stuart Rhodes. If anybody thinks that those organizations aren't going to grow because of it, you're mental.
Right. Yep. That's going to be his personal, little militia, to be honest.
And it's going to grow exponentially.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do you guys know if they got that guy from Texas yet? That Take, or Taake, the one that was like he had already had convictions before January 6th of soliciting a minor and like all kinds of like child sex offenses. And
I think they did get him.
Run for Congress.
Yeah. Up in the cabinet.
He's got a cabinet job.
Yeah, it's just it's fucking unbelievable.
The one thing I'm sorry, Mike. The one thing we're going to push back a little bit. Mike's talked about, the militia and all that. Everyone keeps forgetting this country is fucking huge. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are blue states: California, Washington, Oregon, Illinois. If he's talking about martial law, there's not enough military in the United States to do martial law, even with the local police. And the blue states will succeed from the union before that happens. It would be more civil war than martial law. Because I keep saying, like Johnny Bananas, that we're all fucked. He's going to come for us all and lock us up. No, there's too many of us.
Well, not to mention that, do you think that the military and the police, like every single one of them, is going to agree to enforcing anything like that?
You're right. There's no
way. Like there's people in the military and the police that are going to stand up and say, "Fuck you."
They're going to honor their oath to the Constitution.
And we're talking about a guy who insulted a veteran in John McCain, who was taking benefits away from him, and who has showed his ass at Arlington. He has degraded veteran time after time after time. And I know for a fact myself, I'm not saying that it's a majority. I know several active members who I've had great conversations with them about this. And I like what I heard.
And you know what, Coach?
And also a lot of the vets, and I've seen the videos of a lot of the older vets, are saying, if you do this, they're going to rack up.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit still. No. And that's the thing. I don't see us going. We saw this we saw this in the last 24 hours. When Trump pulled this, instead of everyone going, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" Everyone stood up and said, "Oh, fuck you," and that's why he backed off.
Yeah.
And that's what, if he does that, he's going to get the same reaction, and it'll be bigger. And because we don't take this shit, we are not that brainwashed at this point.
Let me ask you this question. Pete Hegseth today stripped General Milley of all his protective duty. We know Donald Trump hates General Milley because he had the audacity to push up against him. So he takes all the protection. To me, that's like Donald Trump or Hegseth saying, okay, he's the bad guy. We don't like him. Go get him.
Yeah, he'll be brought up on charges or worse soon, I'm sure.
Like he does.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about some of these 1,600 people going after him, trying to be Donald Trump's buddy.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
You mean like Nancy Pelosi's husband, buddy?
Yeah. And also Hesketh has said that he's considering basically a court martial to take away one of his stars. I mean, it's because then it brings us back to the one thing that Kash Patel and all those people are saying, no, Trump doesn't have an enemy list. Really? So why is this going on with Mark Milley?
Yeah,
we know what's going to happen if that fool gets into the FBI. All the criminals in the world are going, please put him in there, because he's not going to go after crime. No. He's going to go after every person that Trump hates, and that's a fact.
It's 100% about his feelings, and it's why he wants to. You know, the people that got court-martialed in the military for not taking, or got, not taking the vaccine or whatever. He knows how he handled the pandemic. We were the worst G7 country by far, and I believe if we look, were we not the only G7 that had a 4-month growth every single day? Because he's out golfing and calling it a hoax or saying that it's going to last 2 weeks or whatever.
Well,
this is him. This is his way of trying to his narcissism of saying those people didn't have to take the vaccine. See, I told you.
He can't be wrong. He can never be wrong.
No, he can't.
I have a question about Milley. Maybe somebody that's a veteran can answer this question, but to demote someone in the military, it goes under the military code of conduct. So you can't just take somebody to court and demote them. It doesn't work like that. They have their own laws and sets of rules. I don't know if the commander-in-chief can single-handedly demote someone. I don't know that, but they can't just investigate him and demote him for no reason. It has to go through military tribunal.
Right.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Here's the thing. No, that's all right. Here's the thing. I don't know that they care if he gets demoted. It's like everything the Trump-fucks do. Let's have a hearing on Biden. Let's have a hearing on Hunter Biden. We don't have any evidence, but they're trying to create a perception to diminish these people. They don't care about the end result. They care about making the noise to try to hurt these people in a perception way. That's how silly they are. They will go through this process to make somebody look bad without ever being able to accomplish anything they set out to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what he does with everything. That's what he does with everything in his life. And he's mad that Milley called him a fascist. And here we are. He's an 80-year-old man that acts like he's 7 years fucking old.
Yeah, no question. No question. Coach Mox, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
I love you. Love y'all. I love your live. Y'all stay safe. Thank you.
Thanks,
all right,
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
This is what I love about doing this. We get so many great, smart, experienced people. We get educated ourselves. When I come on here and do what I do, I don't want to come off like I know everything, because I don't know that much. I read, I look, I analyze, and I talk. But there are people out there that, like Coach Mox or Mike or any of these other folks or you folks, that have some insights that are extremely valuable to a lot of people. And that's the point of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get as many people out there to to understand what's really going on. Once again, we're going to tone it down a little bit. We've got somebody else coming on.
Will and see Temptation. This is great.
Yeah, this should be
I'm
interesting.
Yeah, I'll be back in an hour.
See Temptation. What's up, girl?
Yeah, TJ.
What's
Eric,
going on, Mike?
take
You
it back.
got it's your world. How you doing?
Good.
Hold on one second.
We're doing good.
Trying
We're doing
trying
good.
to
What's
turn
on
the
your mind
camera
today?
on.
Hey,
How
so
you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
good.
How are you?
Tired, but I feel good.
Do you? Why?
But you look beautiful.
You mean
Today
physically,
was a
not
good
necessarily.
day.
Okay. What did you like about today?
Well, I woke up and I'm alive.
Well, when you get to a certain age, I can appreciate that. I do that every day too.
Exactly.
What'd you
Now I was
think
just trying
about
to
this?
figure out what's the nice topic about, pretty much.
Whatever you want to talk about. Well, there's a
In
lot of
other
stuff
words,
to
it's
talk
about
about.
Trump and the Trumpler fucks, right?
Well, and the confirmation hearings
Apparently the
and
plane crash.
You know what?
And a
I
plane
will
crash.
state this. These last couple of days, I've been trying to tell people online that, stop getting so caught up with Trump. The people that you need to go after is the people in Congress. They're the ones that makes the final decision on everything.
Well, yeah, you're right. It seems like at this point, Trump is kind of untouchable. You can call him a convicted felon. You can call him somebody who assaults women, and nobody seems to care. It is the members of Congress we should be going after. Start there and take the power away from the top by doing that.
Right. And then you know what? Now, I sent you an email on this, Mike. I don't know if you received it or not, but just in case, and let the panel know that there is, and I found this out last night on Instagram. They have it's a petition that's going on around right now, circulating to try and get Trump impeached.
That's something the Republicans are going to have to initiate, though. I mean, a petition or
It's
not,
on
unless the
Instagram. I
Republicans are
have the
willing to.
information. I've been telling people about it and emailing, texting people. It's like, the more signatures that goes on that petition, then it'll send a strong message to Congress to let them know, like, look, this is unacceptable. Trump is doing a fucked up job, and putting a whole lot of people, as far as getting people scared, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've heard people talk about that there are people in the Senate, Republican side, there would be
Right.
enough votes to actually convict him. And, Eric and I and TJ and Will, we've all talked about this before. We're not
Right.
out of the realm of possibility that he could get impeached because he does so much damage to the Republican Party. They just can't take it anymore. I don't know that we're at
hell,
that
and
point,
it's
but
really
it could
sad
be.
because the man has been in office, ain't even been a good 2 weeks in. He's just constantly fucking up. And I'm like, when is this going to stop?
Well, that's what I've always said. There's one thing you can count on with Donald Trump, and he's very consistent. No matter what he does, he always fucks up. He always steps on his own foot.
That's all he is a fuck up. That's all. I mean, he doesn't have any. Thank you for the lightning bolt, whoever sent that. The thing about it is this. I mean, he doesn't have any intelligence, and I'm like, and I was telling somebody, I was like, why is it that this individual has so much evil in his heart? And especially towards women and minorities in the LGBTQ community. Hell, it doesn't make any sense.
The thing about you have to understand, see, is that it's not so much any direct evil that he has. It's really about he'll do anything to benefit himself. It doesn't matter if it's evil, if it's good, if it's nothing. He focuses on himself only. So I'm not convinced that he goes, I want to be hard on that person. I want to be evil to that person. It's basically saying, if I have to be evil to get what I want, that's what I will do. He's a malignant narcissist. He's more narcissist than he is actually truly evil.
His cognitive, you could tell, and just previous experience, taking care of my mom, you could tell, though, that the man is demented.
Yeah, no question. And dumb. And incredibly dumb.
Because here's the thing, and to prove my theory behind it, I mean, and it took me a few days to figure this out. it's like, the way he's delivering his message is like he wants to take this country back to the fucking 1930s. And I'm like, look, I am
Yeah.
not my ancestors.
Right,
I'm trying to live for now.
Yeah. See, the thing about it right now is it's not just him. Everyone in the whole Project 2025, the white supremacists, the Christian nationalists, think the target year for the greatest year of the United States is 1955, which is it not, because the world is different. Now, for
Right.
you and
Absolutely.
me and my mom, who told me 1955 wasn't a good year for us, but they think if they get back to that point, that the world will worship at the feet of America. It doesn't work like that anymore, guys. Those times are over. But
Exactly.
this is what we keep pushing backwards for, and the reason they want to get rid of because anyone who's in power wants to control history, because then they can fool the narrative. Read 1984, please, everyone.
I tell you what, I've been married 41 years. I got married in 1983. And if when I got married, I told my wife, I want you barefoot in the kitchen and pregnant, she would have gone see Temptation on my ass and put her foot up it.
Why you gonna call me out like that for, Mike? Why you doing that to me? I thought we was here.
No,
We were cool.
funny
We're
thing-
cool, but
I mean, those of you
I
who
just
watch,
keep it real. That's all. I mean, that's who I am.
absolutely.
yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Will.
stand on the truth. And
I
then,
mentioned-
no disrespect towards the panel or anybody, and you might, no disrespect, but where I got really sick to my stomach is, and it made me, next thing I saw was Red when he made that announcement where he was trying to take away civil rights and our voting rights. And like I was, sharing with people, I'm like, look, my mother's grandmother was a slave. She worked on the plantation. And for that son of a bitch to sit up here and make that type of announcement like that, he want to take away DEI and as well as civil rights. That was, next thing I saw was Red. That was a major problem to me.
Well, that makes
I don't
Because
blame
we
you.
were put on this earth for far as equality, freedom, and, any opportunity that's out there, everybody should have a fair shot, period.
Absolutely.
that makes perfect.
Go ahead, Will.
it's a, yeah, it's just, we grew up, during I grew up the civil rights movement. I saw it. I saw the march. I mean, my mom was part of it. So I grew up in that. And I watched the worst of America try to get better. And I
Right.
always thought we were going to get better. And the worst thing about the election, and we've all this that discussion, is on November 5th, I feel like someone just kicked me in the gut. Like the entire United States said, you know what? All those things that we did before, the people on the Pettus Bridge, the people who died in the civil rights, the workers who were murdered in Mississippi, Emmett Till, fuck that. We want this. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Right,
And
because
I
a lot of
noticed-
our ancestors died and sacrificed their lives to get us to the level where we're at now today in the year 2025. And that's a damn problem to me. Because the way he was like saying abruptly, oh, I'm taking away civil rights. No, that's a slap in my face because, he needs to understand there are laws that's in place and he's nobody else any special. He has to abide by those laws just like any other past president that came in office.
Well, it makes perfect sense that their target date is 1955 because it's before the civil rights movement, and that's exactly
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's so overt.
Like I said, that part, and then that's why a lot of people, the other lives, a couple of other lives I've been on, they've been talking about boycotting Target and Sam's and stuff, talking about, oh, we're going to do this the 1st of February. And I'm like, hell, what's wrong with starting that now? We need to do it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you see, that's such cowards because because you're afraid of what? They can't. Costco just said fuck you, and when Trump went after Costco, Costco said fuck you, because the point is, they're a diverse workforce benefits business. It always does. When you're looking for the most qualified person, that's fine. Now, as other people say, still in the system in the upper echelons, white men get the preference over promotions. But when you're looking at a workforce, it's stupid. It's ignorant, and all DEI programs do just is okay. We have these rules, and we're just trying to include it. Also, it's just the one thing I want to see is that this whole DEI program. I want to see someone in an office do what a lot of those people think they can do in an office. HRs are not going to accept that. There's something called a hostile work environment. And if you're in anyone's listening to me, if you're in an office with a bunch of MAGA fucks, and they're bugging you, and they keep going at it, go to HR and say, hey, HR, I don't care about someone possible. What I care about is the abuse on me. You need to do something about it. And watch the floor fly. Because it's not about their political. It's like, oh, you're creating a hostile work environment? Oh, shit. We have to deal with it. And most companies will deal with it harshly in those situations.
I got a question in the chat. It says, how did your friends and family vote? Just speaking for myself, I voted from home. I'm just trying to answer one question. Yeah.
No, I think they were asking who they voted for.
No, I'm looking at it. It says, how did your friends and family vote?
They probably want to know who they voted for. They're trying to suggest that your family may have voted for Donald Trump. I'm guessing that's not the case.
Oh, hell no. Come on now. Trust me, I understood the assignment when the election first took place, because I was like, I cannot take another 4 years with that clown. I can't do it.
But see what's going on here? See? They're asking you that question. Well, how did your family vote? They're trying to catch you as a black person voting for Donald Trump. They're trying to identify that. And that's a shady question to ask. That's a shady question to ask. And if you didn't mean it that way,
and if that's
fine,
indeed the case, get the fuck out of here. I'm not even on that level.
Absolutely.
No, well, you got me fucked up. Hell no.
Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Don't get me started.
I know. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Come on the podcast, whatever you want to do. See, you're welcome.
Oh, and let me share this information before I leave. Now, in case if you want to go on the website in terms of, if you want to sign the petition to get him impeached, it's under the website is Impeach Trump Again. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Impeach Trump Again.org.
Okay. Yeah. It can't hurt to sign it. I mean, any noise we can make is going to help.
And just like you were saying in one of your videos earlier, Mike, it's time to, our voices need to be heard.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully people will go to the website and we can get this dumb fucked impeached, but we tried twice. Hopefully third time is the charm. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do.
I'm not going to give up on this. I'm not done with this because, and putting that company, putting the country in jeopardy like that, I'm sorry, he has to go. He got to go.
He's got to go. Well, thank you, C. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. I cut her off there, but I don't know how to run this shit.
So I have to tell you guys, everybody's still posting about this plane crash. I talked to TJ's brother, who works for the airlines and has been a plane enthusiast since he was like 2 years old. He told me that there's something on commercial airlines called TCAS. It's a collision warning system, basically. But military airlines, like Black Hawks and whatever, don't necessarily have that. So it's happened before that a commercial airline has collided with a military a helicopter or military airline because they don't have that. So
because TCAS pings.
Yes, correct. It's like the transportation warning system.
So what it does, it pings out and identifies so the aircraft can see it. And if you have a military aircraft, you do not want to be pinging out.
Yes, they do not. Yes, correct. So they do not necessarily have it on board. So it's possible that it was just an accident.
Hopefully that's the case.
If that's coming from my brother, I believe it because
it's coming from your brother.
he dedicated his life to knowing everything about aircraft.
Okay, I'm pulling somebody else in here. Brooks, I think the name is Brooks 1957. Are you there?
I am here. Yes.
How are you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm wonderful. Good evening to the panel. Um, I
Hey, bro.
just feel like we as a people, we need to be aware of the garbage, and that's all I can say because I call him. My personal opinion is dumpster and rational boomer. I've been following you for a while. I'm sure you've seen my name, and I have met
I've
you.
so you're the one following me in the black car.
That would be me. No, when I say that, I have been, I've been,
I appreciate that.
yes, I've been following you and, uh, putting forth, you know, some adages to you because I believe in what you say.
Thank
But
you.
my thing is, I think that what my personal opinion, only my opinion, that Donald Trump is doing a scare tactic and towards everybody in the United States, and these people are falling for the garbage that he's doing, and they are not really looking at the reality of what is truly happening. And that's what's scaring me. And I feel very uncomfortable with what's happening. And I just wish that people, you know, he's on a whole different agenda. His
Yeah.
agenda is making him look like he's the perfect, ideal person to lead this country, and he's not. He's
Well,
not.
I think you make an excellent point. Donald Trump doing what he's doing, that shouldn't surprise anybody. He's
No.
doing exactly what bullies do. It's bullshit, bluster, get in your face, try to scare you, and then the way he wins is if you back down and are frightened. And that's what frustrates me with whether it be politicians or Democrats. When you are
Right.
fearful of Donald Trump, you're playing right into what he wants to do. That's why you got to step up to a bully, slap the fucking taste out of their mouth, and push them back. That's the only way to deal with them. And I'm not seeing a lot of politicians willing to do that. There are some Democratic politicians, but not enough. Everybody should be standing up because nothing he does is right or good for this country. Nothing he does. And that's why it's so appalling to watch the Republicans just to bend a knee no matter how fucking crazy he does things. So it's not what Donald Trump is doing because we expect that out of him. It's how everybody is reacting. And I think you're right on point, Brooks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And as far as I'm concerned, and I agree with you. And I've been following, like I say, I've been following you for probably 2 years. And
Wow. Thank you.
it's like for me to sit there and say, am I the perfect person to say whatever? I've been there. I'm around your age, rational. I'm 67 years old. I'm a black
Okay.
woman. I have 6 kids. I got 18 grandkids. Do you
Wow.
really think I want this country to fold and be subservient to any sorry son of a seabiscuit eater? Because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come sideways, but he doesn't give a damn about us. And when are
No.
people going to come to the reality that he doesn't give a damn if we fold or we don't, or if we make it, fine. If we don't, he doesn't give a damn. He doesn't
No,
give a
he doesn't.
damn. He doesn't give a damn. And why people don't get it, I'm just like sitting here going, the only thing that he wants to do is be number one, so they can say he was the first to do this. He did that. He did the other. He's looking for admiration from bullshitters out here in this country. He's looking for admiration from people that don't even count.
Yeah, he's looking
Period.
for admiration because he didn't get it from mommy and daddy. So now he's got to prove that he's the most popular guy in the country. And the fact is,
Thank
he's
you.
not. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Brooks, thank you for joining us. I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it, and I will land my plane and I will step out. Love you.
All right.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
Love you
continue to
too.
follow
Thank
you
you.
and take care of you. All right, brother.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. It's
It's
you know
it's it's funny to watch these comments. I was making a comment in my life that I didn't get comments, but I started to get comments, and I have a filter of comments. These comments are exactly what I've been getting. If it's not about my physical nature and my double chin bullshit, but the weirdest comments I got, I did a video of describing the new press secretary as the mouth of Sauron, because she is basically speaking Trump shit. And I mentioned that she's exactly what Trump likes, a bubble-headed bleach blonde, that coming from the Don
Yeah.
Henley song.
Pretty
Man,
much.
you wouldn't believe the comments I got on YouTube about you hate white women. You white women bother you. You're scared of white women. God damn it, I'm married to one for the last 40 years. Now I'm scared of mine, but I love her dearly. But God Almighty, I'm reading this, I'm going, what is wrong with you people? I'm scared of her because she's white? No, she's an idiot. She's exactly what Trump wants. And that's that's a child up there talking crap. And a lot of
Yeah.
it's bullshit. Period.
There was
TJ,
there was
are you scared of bleach blondes? TJ?
Who, me?
Yeah, are you scared of bleach blondes?
I'm not scared.
he's terrified. I tell you, I saw a BC comic one time when we had newspapers back in the day, and it showed this guy standing on a rock. He was holding a sword up, and he said, "I'm scared of no man and just one woman." And I can relate to that. I'm fearful of nobody, but the woman I'm living with, I don't fuck around because that'll get me in trouble every goddamn time. I'm going to pull somebody else in here. We'll see who this is. Okay. Miss, I don't get the whole thing here. Ms. Coglia.
Togliatti.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't get the whole, I don't get the whole thing written out.
Oh,
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
what's on your
Hi.
mind today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I just have a question. Actually, I've been following you for a while, but I just have a
Thank you.
question. You know, with the election is over and Donald Trump allegedly won, I don't believe that. My question is, are we just going to sit here and let this man continue to destroy our country? Because nobody, it seems to me, like nobody on the face of the earth can hold him accountable for what he has done.
Yeah, I agree with you. At one point when this was all going on before the election, I thought he was going to be held accountable, but I was proved wrong. When the election was over and everybody said, "Oh wait, something's coming. He screwed around here. He did this. They're going to get him in the end. He's never going to be inaugurated." I didn't believe that was true. Not because I didn't believe he did something or he cheated some way, because we know he cheated in 2020 or 2016, 2020. It's not hard to believe he did it in 2024. It's just all about, what are the Democrats and the DOJ going to do? They haven't done anything yet. So I agree
No.
with you. I'm totally at a loss with that.
Yeah, I don't want to take up much of your time because I know there's other people who want to voice their opinion. But I am so distraught and disgusted by this whole thing. And it got to the point, because you probably can tell from my accent, that I'm not American born, but I'm British American by birth, if that makes
Okay.
sense. And and I
Gotcha.
was talking to my sister, and she says, "I don't know why you just don't come home." But I just can't pack up my stuff and come home. I'm a business owner. I have two companies here, and just to like pack up and just leave, it's not feasible for me at this juncture. But I'm at a loss, and so I don't know what we can do. I thought that people would be in the street marching. I thought that that we would protest his inauguration, because I don't believe that Donald Trump won this election fair and square. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do not believe that.
I
Something
have trouble
happened.
believing it too. I have trouble believing that too, because I said before the election, there's no logical reason why Kamala doesn't win. My wife woke up in the morning and says, "That motherfucker won. You promised me." And I said, "It makes no logical sense. How can that possibly be?" So to suggest that there was something fishy going on, yeah. But, and I've been hearing about protests around the world and even in this country, but we don't see it on the media. I find that interesting. There are
That,
protests going on, but we're not hearing it reported.
You're absolutely right. And I think the media has a lot to answer for because they don't, they're not reporting facts, and people just like watch Fox News all the time. My
Yeah.
my my sister-in-law, her parents, they're hardcore Republican, and whenever we go over their house on a Sunday, every Sunday we have to go there for dinner, and all the Sunday television is Fox News, and I'm like, I'm not coming here anymore because I don't want to watch this shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say shit on the air, but I don't want to watch it. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's all. He goes, oh, but he's so good. He's good for America. I'm like, name one thing that he's done that benefit the American people. Name me one thing. And then they go into a brain, like the brain starts to malfunction. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? How are we so brainwashed? Well, not me, because I've never liked him before he become president, I don't like him now. I mean, I'm a boomer like you. I'm old. I'm 63 years old, going to 64 this year. I'm sick of his
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. No,
I'm
I
done
agree.
ranting. Thank you for letting me speak anyway, because I needed to get that off my chest.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for following, and thank you for having a reasonable mind. There are some of us out there, and it's a matter of what we're going to do about it. And that's where we're at now. What are we going to do about it? I mean, we can talk loud, we can push back. That's all I see I can do, but there's got to be more because we can't
Yeah,
continue to let this clown fucking destroy the country, and that's exactly what he's attempting to do.
exactly. Well, thank you. You have a good night, and I'll continue to watch.
All right, thank you very much. I think that to the guys on the panel or the lady on the panel, that's the frustration. Everybody says, "What can we do?" And when I tell them you got to speak out, you got to push back, you got to write letters, you got to make phone calls, people always say, "That's it." Well, yeah, because of the way the
Yeah.
election went or the way it ended up, that's all we got right now. So we might as well grab hold of that and get on it and fucking push hard,
Hey, we
make
saw
noise.
that we saw that in the last 24 hours. I mean, when he did that, I don't think they expected what happened. I don't think they expected everyone to stand up and go, "No, no,"
Yeah,
and everyone to go and it wasn't just panic mode. People were pissed. People were angry because the point is that they forgot is that that's money they paid in taxes
right.
that they deserve those things to get back. And that's the thing with all these people who say freeloaders and all that. Again, years ago, when the Great Recession, I lost my job. We were at point zero. I had to go to LA County for help. I'm not happy. And I'm behind a bulletproof glass filling out the application. The lady looks across from me and goes, "What's wrong?" And I told him that I've been here. Never, first time I've done this. I've been working all my life. Here I am. And the woman goes, "Did you pay your taxes?" "Yes." "This is your money, honey. Use it to get back on your feet." See, that's what the system's for. But they perverted this into something else. So, again, this is why people stood up and said, "No, my money. Fuck you. You can't take my money." And that's what Trump's finding out. A lot of this, people are going, "No, this is mine." And if they go after Social Security, you ain't seen shit yet of the protests that are going to happen.
Now, some people have come on the comments and we're talking about this plane crash, and somebody's saying, "Why aren't we talking about it?" Well, we were talking about it. What we understand now is that a Black Hawk helicopter hit a commercial airline. I now hear that somebody's pointed out, Lady Hawk is saying that there are 60 passengers and 4 crew members. If you saw the crash on the videos, which I have, I would highly doubt there are any survivors to that. What's behind it all, we don't know. We don't know if it was intentional, if it was accidental, if it was just a freak. There's a lot of questions about it because the Black Hawk shouldn't have probably been that near the runways and such. So we have talked about it, and I'm not going to talk about something unless I know fully the facts, because there's going to be all kinds of conspiracy theories with that, and I just don't wade into that. So I just wanted to throw that in there. We're down to the later stages, so the rest of you, let me know what else is on your mind, because we've talked about a lot of shit.
Well, one of the other things we can do to push back beyond, flooding our representatives with emails, letters, whatever. Look at what just happened last night in Iowa. There was a special election in Iowa for an Iowa Senate seat. Now, it doesn't change the balance of power here in Iowa. But this was a district Donald Trump won by 12 or 20 plus points. Democrat flipped the seat. It was a safe Republican seat. Democrat won it in a special election. We have 3 special elections coming up in the House for all 3 seats that are up for grabs for for people who were picked to be in Trump's cabinet, including Matt Gaetz. We can flip these seats. Don't say, well, he won it by 20 seats. It's safe. It's a special election. They said that here in Iowa. The guy ran on education and pushing back against Kim Reynolds, our Trump-a-fuck governor. You can win these special elections. Don't give in to them being, a foregone conclusion. So that's one thing that we can, if we can get behind the candidates. I haven't heard much talk anywhere about these special elections as far as when they're happening. Media's not covering it.
I think some of the special elections are happening in March, and you make a good point. We've got some Republicans that are being appointed by Donald Trump, and we're going to have some special elections in there. And Donald Trump's not making too many friends, even amongst the Republicans. This might cause them to think twice about who they vote for in this special election. And since we have such a close margin in the House, it isn't crazy to think that they could either tighten things up even more or even flip it to the Democrats. That's conceivable.
Yeah. If those 3 seats flip, Democrats have the House. They would need all 3, but they have the House. Hell, they could get 2, and with Mike Turner being as pissed off as he is, if he finally says, you know what, fuck you, Donald Trump, I'm flipping, he becomes a Democrat even for 2 years.
Yeah.
We have the House. Don't give in. Don't just say these seats are, immediately up for grabs. Oh, they're going to be Republican. Don't fight for it. There's
Well, they're in Florida, though. They're in Florida. That's the only issue I would have.
This was Iowa. This was Iowa. He won the.
I know, but that was a state Senate seat, correct?
It was a state Senate seat, yes, but Republicans carried that seat by 20 points. The seat was only vacant because we needed a lieutenant governor. Our lieutenant governor had resigned, and our governor, Kim Reynolds, appointed the person who held that state Senate seat to become lieutenant governor because it was safe. It was a safe Republican district. They picked somebody out that they knew they could get another Republican in, and they lost.
So to quote Jim Carrey,
go ahead,
to quote Jim Carrey, you're saying we have a chance.
We have a chance.
Yeah,
and we do. We do have a chance.
And the one thing about the media, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, one other thing I want to cover that we've been kind of bouncing around about this idea of impeaching Trump. Republicans are going to probably come to a breaking point when they don't have a choice. If he is hurting their reelection chances, if he starts losing them, let's say they lose 2 of the 3 special election seats, they're holding the House by 1 seat. They may not have a choice, that they're in such dire straits they have to do it. And we've been hearing that there's enough votes in the Senate that if the articles get there, he's gone. But I want to cover something I saw in the comments a couple times. If Trump gets impeached or he resigns or he dies and Vance becomes president, Mike Johnson will not be vice president. Vance gets to appoint somebody, much like what happened when Nixon resigned, Ford became president, Ford appointed Rockefeller. It doesn't automatically become the Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson does not he only gets promoted if something happens to Trump and Vance at the exact same time.
Exactly. And it's temporary.
It's
one thing,
I think the end of the term. But
yeah.
It's
and
never
a couple of things I saw. Someone was talking about the Guantanamo thing. I see someone keep bringing it up in the comments. So Trump wants to open a Guantanamo for 30,000 immigrants, blah, blah.
Right.
I mean, my only comment to that was, what took him so long to get to this point?
Exactly.
I mean, And if he does it, if people go along with it, then we are lost. If anyone in the Democratic Party does stand up and say this is wrong, they're lost. And also, he's going to need money for this shit. Where's this money coming from, dude? You can't
He needs
just
money
write
for
a check, Mr.
deportation.
President.
He's already
He
spent
needs ridiculous amounts.
deportation.
Yeah, he's got deportations. He's got all this shit. He wants to open up Guantanamo. This all costs a lot of money, and he's not put anything through Congress to get money, and nor are the Democrats going to allow him to do it. Was he doing everything on credit?
Yeah, and the thing about the media too, and like Eric made a good comment, and I think the last commentator made a comment too that we're not seeing this, is that the media is running and hiding for politics. First of all, CNN, everyone knows Jim Acosta left CNN and basically told everyone don't believe their lies, which was great. He was the only guy I saw on CNN who would take Republicans and twist them into knots and then throw them away. I hope he comes, he goes podcasts. I hope we can see him again. But the other thing I read today is that I get the Hollywood Reporter, because you believe some of the stuff that comes across it is pretty interesting. And one of them is this: Joe Scarborough wants to talk about more than politics. Okay, I read the article. They're doing now on Morning Joe more fluff pieces on celebrities and movies.
I know.
And the thing is, they talked to Scarborough about what's going on at MSNBC. MSNBC is moving that way. They want to become Entertainment Tonight. They don't want to deal with politics. And when the first question though in the interview was, what about the Mar-a-Lago thing? And what happened was he went right to, all my buddies said I was okay, but only those few people on the social media were upset. Motherfucker, your ratings gone through the shithole because we few people got pissed. But that's what's going on. They don't want to cover politics. They don't want the heat. I mean, ever since literally they want to go Entertainment Tonight. They don't want to cover politics. And we know CNN's a joke now.
Yeah,
CNN's a joke.
They have to shift gears because their ratings are in the toilet.
Yeah, and it's not going to help them at all. I mean, they've already got a lot of bad will from people who would watch them. Even if they do switch to entertainment, they're still not going to watch them because you can't fucking trust them.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap things up here. We've been going for about an hour, 45 minutes now, and I usually like to keep it to that. For those of you that didn't hear the whole live, you can hear it on what is it? Friday into Saturday? No, Thursday into Friday, and it'll be on YouTube. And it will be on Spotify, just the audio version. I hope you'll check that out. We have podcasts every day, so it's always important that you listen when you can. For those of you that have been with us and that have come on or just listening and commenting, thank you very much for taking the time to do that. I hope you have a great night, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.